Good evening, Hagar, and welcome to Design Dialogues hosted by Fabulous. This is your host, Bhavya, and today we have the pleasure of speaking with architect Hagar Abiri, the founder of HAA&D Berlin. Just to give a brief introduction to your studio, founded in 2014 by visionary architect Hagar Abiri, HAA&D is a Berlin-based studio which blends innovation, warmth, and a touch of timeless elegance. They are more than just architects and designers. They are storytellers, crafting spaces that nurture communities and spark creativities. Believe in a thoughtful, client-centered approach where their dreams and values shape every detail, ensuring that their space reflects who they are and today and into the future. Their studio is a who believes in every project is a personal journey. So thank you so much for joining us today, Hagar.
Thank you for having me, for inviting me.
So before starting the questions, I would like to inform you that this interview will be published on the website of Fabulous. So sign up to the Fabulous website and you'll get the access to watch this interview. So shall we proceed with the questions?
Yes, please, we can start.
So first question for the day. HHA&D Studio emphasizes a balance between cutting-edge technology and timeless aesthetics. So how do you ensure that your designs remain both innovative, enduring, and rather than being defined by the current trends that's going in the architecture industry?
It's all about finding the right balance, I would say, using new technologies in a way that makes sense while keeping design timeless. We don't chase trends, for example. Instead, we focus on smart, lasting solutions that feels natural and age well. Good design isn't just about how something looks today, but how it will work and years from now over time. That's why we choose materials that age well, create flexible spaces, and always keep sustainability in mind also. We blend technology with good quality of craftsmanship, which is also very important, ensuring that every detail is thoughtfully designed and built to last. Basically, it's about using innovation to enhance quality and not replace it.
Perfect, Agar, perfect. So talking about your project C59 Apartment, it is described as a very peaceful retreat within the dynamic rhythm of Berlin. So how did you approach the balance between creating a tranquil and intimate living space while maintaining a very strong connection to the city?
So anyone who's been to Berlin knows that Berlin energy comes from the people in Berlin. And the apartment is designed as a place to retreat and recharge within that crazy rhythm of Berlin. Entering the building and then the apartment is gradual transition, allowing, it's like a ceremony of slowing down, or the other way, preparing to re-engage. The layout is shaped around movement, flowing naturally around key elements like the kitchen island, the dining table, the sofa. The movement around those elements, those islands, is dividing the space while also keeping it connected. It's a bit like streets in the city, allowing a dynamic yet seamless transition between the places. This way, the apartment stays linked to the pulse of the city while offering a calm, reflective, intimate space.
So, talking about the same project, this project generally emphasizes on the use of natural materials, particularly wood from its aesthetics, as it can be seen from the pictures, and also the concept of sustainable and the psychological benefits using those materials. So, can you elaborate on how those material choices influence the emotional experience of a space and why it was one of the key consideration in the C59 apartment project?
So materials shape how we feel in the space, often in ways that we don't even realize. There are studies showing that bringing that a bright space, for example, can improve your mood. Touching soft surface, holding warm drink, even looking at someone that is wearing a white t-shirt can really make you react positively to the city that you are in. So the environment you're in, if it's an office or home, it doesn't matter. It has influence on you. That's why in our project, the choice of natural materials isn't just about aesthetics or sustainability. Also, but not just, but it's also about how they make people feel. Wood, for example, adds warmth, it is grounding, and it gives you the I'm home feeling. Seeing, for example, greenery through the windows That creates the natural connection to the outside, to the nature, which has a relaxing effect on us, on people. And that, for example, was kept in mind when we realized the layout of the apartment, keeping distance from the walls and from the windows to allow this view. At the end, it is about creating a space that feels good, where you can slow down, breathe, and just feel home.
Perfect. So, talking about your portfolio, sustainability, I've seen it's one of the core in your practice. So, beyond the materials and the energy efficiency in terms of sustainability, how do you integrate sustainability into the broader architectural experience, ensuring a very long term adaptability and the relevance in the project that you do?
Okay, let's start with an honest statement. Construction, as it is today, is not sustainable, so not 100% sustainable, and we cannot foresee the future. That being said, we could try our best to improve that. For me, sustainability is not just about using green local sourced materials, but it is about this holistic approach to design that allows flexibility and relevancy over time. We sometimes design with future scenarios in mind, ensuring that spaces and buildings can adapt to changes, but it's guessing. Yeah. So what works so far is to avoid trends and aim for timeless design. You can learn about that from looking back and see what survives the test of time, what is still relevant, what is loved. It helps if the design is good, of course, and has artistic value in it. So people would want to preserve it over time. In a world where we are drowning in objects with short life cycles, I believe in making lasting choices, whether through flexible planning or selecting high quality product that lasts. And of course, very important when planning, we must consider long-term care to extend life cycles, not act only when it's maybe too late to repair something. Minimalism also plays a role. It's isn't just about living with less, it's about curating with value. So you end up with what you need and what you enjoy, and not drowning in meaningless things that also affect your mind. The goal isn't emptiness. It's about clarity. It's not about absence, but intention. This has impact on both, the environment, of course, but also your mind.
So, Hagar, talking about the Eco Urban Haven project, this project integrates the health focused design from intelligent ventilation to the cardiac and lighting. So, how did you approach the challenge of merging architecture with wellness technology while maintaining a seamless aesthetic in this project?
Well, I really believe in this mission, creating spaces that improve life, not just for us, but also for the whole environment. If technology helps us to do that, then why not using it? The more we show that sustainability or healthy design can be a beautiful, comfortable, and exciting, then people will want to be part of it, have it. And that's how real change happens. So sustainability, healthy spaces shouldn't feel like a compromise. They should be something people desire, something that excites and inspires them. The goal wasn't just to add smart technology, but to create a home that naturally makes life better. Bright space, clean air, clean water, better sleep, better hosting experience, a space that just feels good to be in. It is important for a family life and as well for your well-being as individual. The challenging part, of course, is packing all of those systems in seamless manner, as you said, not clinical or dominating the space. And so ventilation, lighting, sound and acoustic, watering system, cleaning watering system, all works quietly in the background, shaping the atmosphere that feels right. Completed, of course, at the end, completed with natural materials and handcrafted details. The space stays clean, yet warm and inviting. That's the only way we could really pack it nicely and serve it.
So, Hagar, talking about this project, I found a very interesting part. The inclusion of the site-specific art installation by Eva Zabonsky adds a very cultural dimension to the space. So, how do you see the relationship between art and architecture in the evolving contemporary residential design and architecture industry?
The way I see it, the whole design of the apartment is a form of art. The apartment itself is artwork. Adding artwork is like planning a window. We can choose where to place the window, but we don't always control what we see through the window. Even though it is made by someone else, it becomes a statement of the owner. Choosing art is a way of personalizing the space, to bring in something that inspires you or to represent you in the way that you want to be represented or be seen. We, the designers, the architects, we create a setting, and the art adds another layer within the bigger artwork, which is the architecture.
You emphasize a lot on integrating digital technology into architectural solutions. So, what do you believe? What role does emerging technologies like AI, parametric design, or the smart building systems play in your projects today? And it will play a very important role in the future coming projects of yours.
So, technology is a tool. It's a wonderful tool. It doesn't replace architectural thinking, but it allows us to design smarter, especially in bigger scales, where we need to analyze more data, for example. I don't see myself as an expert for AI, but I feel like right now we are in the eye of the storm. Things are evolving rapidly, and we are trying to simply keep up. There's also a risk of becoming passive users rather than critical thinkers. The danger is, of course, relying too much on technology without questioning it. At the end of the day, we are designing for people, and our first priority is still for the environment, which is still a problem. For example, with AI, it is not sustainable, and one must be aware of it. Hopefully that will also evolve, probably also very fast. As the saying goes, there is a famous saying, with greater power comes great responsibility. As long as we use those tools to support our work rather than that the technology dictate our work, we will benefit from it, I have no doubt. This is a turning point in history. I would say maybe even bigger than the Industrial Revolution. We cannot ignore it, and we are just getting started. I can't say if it's for the better or for the worse, but what matters is staying adaptable while holding on to your core values, because those don't change. Your value stays with you. We are still humans, and we still need clean air, fresh water, healthy food, shelters. A smart building shouldn't mean a thoughtless owner. In the daily work, we use technology and AI, for example, to analyze data, to measure energy and light, to communicate, to solve technical conflicts, and to be inspired. So to conclude, technology is a good thing as long as you are in the driver's seat.
I think I have never heard such a better and a very simplified explanation how, AI can be actually great example of, how if you have good intentions, you won't be able to do bad damage in the world using AI. So yeah, thank you so much for your answer. So the project Shed Light is a very striking example of how minimum intervention can create a very profound impact, as your projects generally do to the customers. So how did you arrive at the decision of using light and shadow as one of the primary medium for this project? And what challenges did you face in executing such a delicate concept?
Okay, so we had a discussion in the office about how to approach this topic. And the main question was, should we participate at all in this? The challenge was to avoid taking the wrong direction and creating a marker that would feel like a warning sign, So we decided to try, but not to push it. So there was no pressure, I would say. The idea of using light and shadow felt like the right language for us for this purpose. Minimalism is at the core of our work, and light planning is something that we deeply focus on in every project. So this solution wasn't just about making a statement. It was about staying true to our design philosophy while letting the message reveal itself in the most organic way possible. Once the design was in place, we wanted to give it another layer. We didn't want to simply point out the problem because of the challenges I mentioned. We wanted to correct historical oversight in a way that is impossible to ignore. And that's what makes it powerful, I think. Many people know the Barcelona pavilion, not only architects. They recognize the furniture worldwide. And while everybody knows who Miss van der Rohe is, they rarely know who Lili Reich is. This project is about changing that and revealing the ethic problem without screaming it.
So, as your studio integrates research and social responsibility into their practice, how did your research and process influence this project, the Shed Light? And how do you see the similar interventions becoming a very recurring theme in your work?
Before Shed Light, we worked on a research-driven project called HER, H-E-R. It's furniture collection designed to challenge the way standard measurement is designed, or how standard measurement in design have historically excluded women. Through that research, we discovered how deeply rooted these biases are, not just in architecture, but also in other objects, from furniture dimension to phone size. In the past, women were often considered only in spaces like kitchens and bathrooms, mainly for cooking and cleaning purposes, as you can imagine. This is similar to medical research. I think many are aware to this today, which historically included only men because women's bodies were considered too complex, I would say it gently. Even today, women don't always receive proper care because of lack of research. Of course, this issue goes beyond gender, but the point is that architecture and design have also been shaped by similar biases. So our goal with HER project was to correct this without excluding men, because doing so would only repeat the same mistake in reverse. So in that research, we explored how women's role shaped design and how their achievements were often overlooked. That is when I came across Lili Reich's story. Miss van der Rohe became one of the most celebrated architects while she remained in his very long and big shadow. This realization stayed with me and was reflected later on in the Shed Light project. So integrating research and social responsibilities is a driven force, I would say. You can see it also in our proposal to the Holocaust Memorial in Lyon. It's called The Void Within. It did not win, went pretty far, unfortunately it did not win. And in the research-based project called And the City, known mostly for its podcasts. In the podcast, together with Prima, my partner, Prima Suri Abdullah, we explored urban scale issues, considering social, environmental, and political aspects. Projects like this will always have a place in my work. Not just as a statement, but as a way of keep learning, evolving, shift perspective, and make the invisible.
So, Hagar, moving to the last question for the day. So, as you just mentioned, Shedlight, it has a very challenging approach towards the architecture world to acknowledge and celebrate the forgotten contributors. So, beyond this installation, how do you think that the industry can take more concrete steps towards inclusivity? And what advice would you like to give to emerging architects looking to create socially conscious work?
Inclusivity in architecture is about shifting our perspective, recognizing shared responsibility, and building a profession that thrives on collaboration rather on competition. We should see each other as partners with the same goal in mind, not just as planners, by the way, but individuals. Part of that is learning to walk in someone else's shoes. If you can't, then ask them, how does it feel, and be open to what they have to say about it. Many people are not seeing problems simply because they're not confronted with those problems. How would they know? A teenager would not have the same perspective of a pregnant woman, and he would not see her challenges. Or he would not understand the need of an old man in a chair. But at the end, they all use and share the same public space, and the public space must facilitate all of them, all type of users. In the project and the city, we interviewed Leslie Lower about her book. It's called No Place to Go, where she introduces the idea of a privilege check. I liked it. It's not about feeling guilty, but it's about recognizing the advantages or barriers we face and use our advantages to lift each other and build sustainable community. As planners, the more we acknowledge this dynamic, the better and more thoughtful our work becomes, because real change happens when we design for and with people.
Thank you so much, Hagar. I think it was a really, really impressive and a very insightful answer. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to see this coming to life.
So this was the last question for the day. Thank you so much for giving your precious time, Hagar. It was a pleasure to have you here. And don't forget to sign up to the Fabulous website. Thank you so much, Hagar.